Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody and that is just fine. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, because we're in one of those tween weeks, I have already pre-shuffled the deck in the Aries video and I'm just picking from the top. All right, so for your key to the week this week, you have the Hermit card. So this is for a lot of you deep study, meditation and focus. There's something this week that has a lot of your attention. There's a very insular feel to this. I find it really interesting that this card should come up as well because your ruler Mercury is currently Your ruler Mercury is currently moving through your sibling sign of Virgo, and the Hermit card represents Virgo. What I often say to people with this card is the Hermit is what shows up when the High Priestess or your own intuition has a message for you. This is about withdrawal from the loud. This is about pulling away from the and the hubbub and all the rest of it so that you can hear the inner voice speak. Study, meditation, focus, reflection and peace. These are all things that you're going to need this week in order to gain the messages, the clarity and the insight that you are looking for. As an overview and a key to the week card, this kind of suggests that you're doing the opposite of what you're known for, right? Gemini tends to be a really communicative sign and, you know, tends to interact with a lot or tap into different streams of communication. But this week you're very focused on a specific task at hand and it's like you're withdrawing from the world. With that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves shirt, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Magician card. All right, I'm just trying to remember if I shuffled the cards. I'm pretty sure I did. Oh well. So here's where this gets really interesting. The Magician card literally represents Mercury and you've got this as your actions and options. Then you've got the Hermit card, which is your sibling sign. So there is a lot of your energy that pervades this week. But because you've got the Magician card here in the actions and options, this is about you really working on specializing in something. Now, what I find really intriguing about this is you guys tend to skim the surface and gain a lot of clarity and wisdom and information and facts on lots of different stuff. But this energy, this combination of energies, this is about you chunking down. I keep saying that phrase this week, so there's obviously something going on there. I'll check in with myself later. But you're chunking down on something. You're getting really hyper focused and potentially hyper vigilant this week on one specific subject. Because it is the Magician card as well, this is about you gaining or at least chasing some sort of title and or accolade. It's like you're saying to yourself, yes, this is the title that I want. This is the job role that I want. This is the recognition that I want. And you'll get it. Like there's no doubts about that because you've got the Magician here. In couplet with that Hermit card, this could also represent the connection or alignment with a powerful person and or teacher or mentor. So it's like you're working with someone, I mean, that is a mentor to you, that is becoming a mentor to you. It could also be that some of you are becoming teachers and or mentors in your own right. So this could be really great. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Queen of Pentacles. This Queen of Pentacles is very likely to be a Virgo woman. So the Queen of Pentacles, Earth sign woman, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, coupled with the Hermit card, that's a Virgo woman. She comes up for you very strong. This is likely to be somebody that is going to be in communication with you. Maybe this person is going to be your mentor or your teacher, or maybe it's going to be your mentee or your student. It just depends where you're at this moment in time. What's also really evident is that the quality of communication that you're having this week, conversations, you know, Gemini can do all levels of communication because it's all conversation, right? But you tend to keep it light-hearted. Whereas this week, there is a more somber note to whatever you're talking about. The conversations are a lot more serious, they're a lot more grounded, they're a lot more weighty, and they all seem to be focused on how to improve or enhance something. For those of you that are students or studying or in some form of academia, this is nose to the grindstone stuff. This is chasing that top spot, and so therefore, you know, like when you hear the stories of the entrepreneurs, I'm not a massive fan of hustle culture, even though I have been consistently called a workaholic, but it has its merits, right? And I kind of feel like for a lot of you this week, you're hyper focused on something. This is you really doing the work. And in order to, you know, like when you hear these entrepreneurs say, well, you know, I didn't go out with friends, I didn't do this, there is an element of that this week. It's like you're not going to be social, you're not going to be doing all the stuff that you're known for. You are getting that work, right? Like this seems to be I mean, we're in Virgo season, so it makes a lot of sense, but this seems to be a pervading theme across the board this week. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could actually be a career track that opens up for you this week. So maybe a boss or a superior comes to you and says, sorry, I've cut my finger, it's really annoying, but I can't leave it alone. Like maybe a boss or a superior comes to you and says, look, there is an opportunity for you to advance, but it's going to be a long haul. Like this is going to be at least 6 to 12 to 18 months of you know, going through this process. You're going to be learning on the job. It's kind of like an apprenticeship, but it's more than that because it's already a part of your work that takes you to another level. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, this is, quite frankly, a lot of you going through the business with a fine-tooth comb. This is looking at the paperwork, looking at the direction. This is for some of you maybe seeking out a business mentor. This is for some of you maybe playing that role or facilitating for somebody else. And it's like the work that you're putting into this, or the work that you're doing, it's going to go beyond this week. All right, like this is just the touchstone. This is just one of those moments where you're laying like the cornerstone of a foundation of some sort that's eventually going to be a skyscraper. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, in a lot of ways, especially with the Magician card here, I think for some of you, you're likely to be going back to school. Maybe for some of you, you're deciding that actually you need more skills, not because, you know, you work, but just because you want them. And for a lot of you, I feel like this is going to be a very practical skill. Something like, oh gosh, gardening, vegetable growing, how to make clothes from scratch with a sewing machine. Do you know what I mean? It's something that's really very earthy, very practical, something that for most people would be considered boring. Not too long ago, I said to my friend, like, oh, I really want to go to thingy to, it was like a, not a webinar, a seminar, not a seminar, it was like a workshop, that's it, to learn how to make cheese. And you know, the looks that I got were just like, here he goes again. But hey, I find that stuff fun. For your love and relations, you've got the Page of Swords. Okay, so you've got this underneath the Magician, and you've got it also here with the Hermit. For those of you that are single, I wouldn't be surprised if you meet someone this week either through the work or through the studies, and it's kind of like you acknowledge, you're like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll swap numbers, maybe we'll go for coffee, and you just get straight back into it. Whereas usually you'd stop for that conversation or to build it. Because it is the Page of Swords, there's something about this that feels like maybe when you meet somebody who, by the way, is likely to have two characteristics. One, they're likely to be older than you. Two, actually, they're likely to be older than you, or they look, or, you know, they could be young, but they have something about them that makes them look older. So as an example, young guys who have beards tend to look older. Or, you know, sometimes you meet somebody that's got like a real baby face, but they've got salt and pepper hair, which, by the way, hey, listen, I love me some seasoning, okay? What I will also say, though, is it's like, because it's the Page of Swords, aside from the not really looking up from what you're doing and not really acknowledging them, the other way that you could come across is like you're grilling them. So they might be like, is this a job interview or a date? Do you know what I mean? So just be mindful of that. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there are a lot of contracts, a lot of paperwork that's being looked at right now. For some of you, I actually feel like this is about buying a home or starting a business, or working on an existing business with or for the partner, but there's a lot of poring over information and it has you hyper focused. For your money and materials, you've got the Star card, making money online, quite frankly. This is a week where those of you that work in the digital sphere, especially for those of you that are into anything like crypto, this week you could discover something like a coin, you could, a company that's about to go public, like you discover something just before it hits the big time. You guys have really good instincts when it comes to this stuff. So whenever like people that have Gemini placements or strong Gemini influences, I'm always like, okay, yeah, listening. And Scorpio, weirdly enough, that I've noticed, a lot of Scorpio people are really good at crypto. And I don't know if that's because of anyway, I'm getting into my geekdom, so I'll leave that alone. But yes, this could be you're discovering something, a stock, a crypto, maybe you're launching a digital product for some of you that does way better than you had imagined. Like, yes, I think you probably knew it was going to do well, but the results might be even better than you had expected as well. For those of you that are, when it comes to your home and environment, this looks like you're either installing or getting some new technology. So you could be getting a new laptop, maybe a new phone for some of you. It could be that you're installing CCTV, maybe you're changing the appliances in the kitchen. There's new technology coming into the home. And of a practical nature at that, like of a really practical nature. So it will be things like washing machines, it will be things like, gosh, what else? The next thing that came to mind was like a smart toilet, but why do you need that? Come on. All jokes aside, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, especially with the Hermit card, your nervous system at the moment, the sensitivity is doing this, and it's really interesting that you're withdrawing from the world and quietening yourself down, because that's going to have a great effect on that part of you. So it's like you're doing the work intuitively, because your nervous system might be the thing that takes the 1-2 this week. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.